the heck is that? This is another landmark. This is the old Capitol. Well, not old, but the Capitol Records building. This is definitely a landmark. And a lot of disaster movies and earthquake movies and alien invasion and destructions. This is one of the buildings that always ends up getting blown up. Pretty cool, right? I love this building. And it's right next to the Pantages Theater. Further on, this is Hollywood and Vine. This is where one and so many would come to be discovered. Hanging out, getting some coffee, probably getting a soft drink back then, and hanging out and just being discovered by a producer or a director. Many of stars have been discovered here. This definitely is a landmark. Oh. Yeah, see? Corona. What Corona, folks? Corona beer? Physical distancing? Nah. Are you kidding? Look at this. Huh. Farce. And tourists are back and abounding, so. Ooh, yeah, definitely tourists. I believe these do light up in the evening. When they were first installed a few decades ago, they were always lighting up. There were 4 of them, and they had the movie spotlights. Am I aiming correctly? Okay, there. Just bear with me. It's the left eye that's kind of fluffing things up for me. It throws my depth perception off a bit. Oh, there's the old Showgirls strip club. One of the venues that was made popular by Motley Crue. You know, I'm not sure. I kind of get a little confused from the movie theaters. One of the last movies that I actually saw, I think when I was like 13 and 14, something like that. My neighbor Chris, I went with him and his family. And I think this is the old movie theater, an old horror flick called Motel Hell. If you remember that movie, please chime in. And yeah, that was a pretty trippy movie, but I believe it was either this one or the one further down that away, but I'm almost certain I think it was at this one. I see! Oh. My living situation is a madhouse, so if I'm going to have a madhouse or be in the middle of a madness, I'm going to be where it's woo, rightfully so. Space. Howie. Jack White. Mr. Dangerfield. Mr. Farley. Wow. Bless his soul. Yeah, it's a common thing now. Deal. This used to be the old check cashing place where I used to come here. Hey, at least Popeyes is still here. Used to have many a lunch here with some of my former co-workers. Greco's Pizzeria too is fantastic. I used to cash my checks over here on paydays on Fridays from the shop. The shop that I used to work at is right down the street. Let's go take a look. Oh, before that, two things. This used to be like we had so many here in Los Angeles and in Hollywood and these areas. A lot of old newspaper stands. This area right here was one of the old newspaper stands area. And that building, when I was still working over here in Hollywood, Babyface, I don't know if he still does, but Babyface had bought that building right there for his wife. That was, wow, that was 25 years ago, I think. Yep. Almost ran into that chain. This used to be, oh my goodness, so much of this has changed. That building right there has changed. That was not there. There were actually several times where there were, the Mighty Morphins were actually filming over here. All around this area, the Power Rangers and the Mighty Morphins were filming right here. God, I'm somewhere right here. I think it was maybe right in between there, or no, it was right there, was the original Frolic Room. And I think Danny Trejo's restaurant is over here. Yeah, there's Danny Trejo's Cantina. That used to be right there. In that little corner right there used to be a nice Salvadorian restaurant, excuse me. And they had the best pupusas over here. That right there, I was working back in 89. No, excuse me, 98. 97, 98 when I came back from Tahoe. That used to be Copy Masters Printing. The folks that I worked for, really sweet family. Mom and dad and girlfriend used to run this shop, and they own this whole building, and that used to be Copy Masters right there. Cahuenga and Selma. This place is just fantastic. Wow. And there used to be a Jack in the Box over here. The CNN building is right over there. I think the Pacific Cinerama Dome is, or still is, down over there. Has gone through many and many changes. When I was working here, we were doing a lot of printing for the movie and the music industry, and a lot of, dare I say, not so up and up printing for of sorts. There's a G-Men Studios. When I was working here, they had just Silverman Studios right here. Had just purchased this building, and it was quite small. It's nice to see that it's so big, but we had a contract, and we used to do a lot of printing for Silverman Studios. Yeah, that's the old Copy Masters. We had this whole building right here. That part was the office, and the other offices of the sales were over there, and the printing was over in the back. Yeah, and the Frolic Room occupied this corner right here. Can't remember really too much what that is. You Need Coffee. That is, let me see if I can hit the right button. Broadway Hotel. Yeah, and there used to be that used to be the fantastic Salvadorian restaurant. Like I said, great pupusas. Wow, it's a trip. And also, honestly, there is, or was at that time, a fantastic little Thai restaurant down over here on the corner. Right across the street from the CNN, and actually it was one of, are you ready for this? Monica Lewinsky used to patron the Thai restaurant over there, and I used to see her, well, we all used to see her walk in front of our shop over here, and my boss would go, oh, there goes Monica, there goes Monica. And yes, of course, it was during that time I actually had an engaging conversation for about maybe 4 minutes. Very pleasant young lady. Naive, yes, but it takes two to tango, unfortunately. It's not all on one. Yeah, this was the old Jack in the Box right here. Wow. Because the shop was right over here, and during lunchtime, I always come over here for a 99-cent Jack burger and a $2.50 complete meal. There is the CNN building, and criminy, I cannot see that one. Yeah, the old Thai restaurant used to be there, which was Monica's favorite place to be. And coming up over here should be the Cinerama Dome. I remember seeing Godzilla over here lastly, I believe. This used to be the old Amoeba Records. And prior to the Amoeba Records was Sammy's Camera. Huge, huge facility. And there is the beautiful Pacific Cinerama Dome. The Los Angeles Film School. This is actually a very, well, I don't know about now, but I'm sure it still is. It's a very, very good school. Not too far from used to work. The dome. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. The Pacific Cinerama Dome. Right there. My old bank used to be over here. I used to have my Wells Fargo down over here. Back in the day when we used to actually write checks instead of sliding it. There it is. Very cool, huh? I never liked this added part. This is shut. I didn't even realize. I didn't see the. Oh, that's right. I think there was, the property was sold, and I think it was slated, because this was an ArcLight Theater, and this is they wanted to make this a historic landmark, which they should. It's very unique, beautiful from inside, huge, lush red velvet type of furnishings. Back as so many of the classic movie theaters here in Hollywood and Los Angeles. Then they added this part right here that I never liked. I never liked this. This should have just been a standalone building by itself. When they added all of this other stuff, it just took away from the look of this building, because this is a very unique building, both inside and outside, but mainly outside. Yeah, here it is.